if like my teenage self could be like, what? I was literally watching their music videos like yesterday. I keep joking with the boys. I'm like, hey guys, thanks for finally opening up my VHS audition tape from like 96.
So happy to welcome a good friend of Loudwire to the show tonight, and probably just one of the most respected and beloved singers in rock today, Lzzy Hale. Lzzy, thank you so much for hanging.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for that intro. That makes my heart happy.
So, listen, when this interview got put on the calendar, there are a few things we're going to talk about, and we'll get to these things, right? You're going to tour with I Prevail, and I want to hear
Yeah.
what the future looks like for Hailstorm. Is there new music coming? All of that, but some major news also dropped, like right after we booked this interview. So the fact that you're going to be playing a few shows with Skid Row coming up, I feel like
Yeah.
we got to jump into that.
Oh, absolutely. Man, it is so much it's so beautiful that this week after they announced it, I just realized how much bigger it is than just my individual love for Skid Row and their, and our friendship for each other. Because it started out so humbly. We were at a birthday party a couple months ago, before we left for tour, and I've known Rachel Bolan and Snake for forever. They were one of the people that brought us into this Nashville community here of like rock and metal, and so we're at a Nick Raskulin's birthday party, our producer's birthday party, and Rachel says to me, he's like, "Hey, would you ever consider singing with us?" And I'm like, what, just like, up at the, whatever the bar down the street is. He's like, no, like up with Skid Row, like standing in for some shows. I'm like, oh dude, yeah, absolutely, dude, anytime. And then a couple months later he calls me up, he's like, hey, were you serious, because we have some dates that are coming up that we need you. And so I'm like, dude, let me get in my calendar. So I got with my people, and like we're moving everything around. I'm like, yeah, I'm set. He's like, okay, cool, well, there's some stuff going on with Eric and we're going to announce it. And I'm like, okay, awesome. And didn't even think about the bigger picture. And then we announced it and the floodgates just opened. I'm hearing from people I haven't heard from in 15 years that introduced me to Skid Row, and my family members and my bandmates family members, and then also like my nieces and nephews that are like, oh, we get to like bring everybody out, this is an event, it's something that's bringing everyone together. And then for me it's like this full circle, because Skid Row, you have to understand, like I'm a weird in-betweener. Like when I was like 11 through 13, I was into 80s metal and like Cinderella and Skid Row and all that. And then, but I was also getting into new metal in the early 2000s, which was, Disturbed and Seven Dust and Tool. And the crazy thing about Skid Row is that they were the ones that carried me through over that bridge,
Yeah.
because they had the big choruses and everything, but then they had, those later albums that were just very present with the times and the weird seedy underbelly that was the 90s that we were all just kind of feeling. So they bridged that gap for me. So if like my teenage self could be like, what? I was literally watching their music videos like yesterday, and now it's like come to full fruition. I keep joking with the boys. I'm like, hey guys, thanks for finally opening up my VHS audition tape from like 96.
I love that.
Like glad it made it in the mail finally. And I pass the audition. But it's going to be so great. And I'm on like the stationary bike, like listening to like the set list and trying to like make sure I can hit the high notes and all that. I'm just like, I'm getting ready. This is like my Olympic sport. Let's go.
That's great. I love that that you're feeling that love too, and just seeing how big this is, because I think this might be one of the first times, or at least one of the few times in the history of modern rock where I don't think I saw a single negative comment about this.
Right? I know. It's
The
really
news broke,
crazy.
everybody just got so excited, and everything with Eric was, it seemed very amicable, and you wished him
Yeah.
well, and so there was no real negativity there, and then just everybody so excited to see you step in.
Well, and it's great. It's crazy because it's kind of a passing of the torch around the circle. It's like everyone's looking out for each other, and being there for each other. It's like, as much as, with Eric and everything going on with him and his life, the boys in the band are so gracious to be like, like let's make sure we let this go in the right way because we care about you. And then, you know, in my turn, I'm like, hey man, you need some dates. Well, I care about you guys, so let me lend my voice and what I can to this. And then, like with all of the feedback, you're incredibly right, because I haven't heard one negative comment, and it's just giving everybody a reason to smile, and that's what it's all about, man. And so I don't know, just like we've been talking about, like, man, this is like bigger than us doing some gigs. Like, this is like amazing, and what a beautiful thing to be a part of, you know?
I love it. You know, you were on the show with us last year. We were talking about your collaboration with Ashley McBryde,
Mm,
and you told us that when you were 13, you kind of set your mission statement, and that was to always say yes to adventure.
mm.
And clearly, we see that happen with other collaborations with what you do with this announcement with Skid Row. But hearing you say that kind of that 11 to 13, when you're 11 to 13, you're kind of into that 80s hair metal, and then beyond that, started getting into the new metal. Did Skid Row help shape that mission statement for you?
Oh, absolutely. Because I still wear those things on my sleeve to the point that it's becoming a little annoying in demos, because you know, we're writing a record right now, and I am just going full on, like, I like it's been kind of like peeling back the onion to, like, well, what started all of this? And so all of this weird serendipitous stuff is starting to kind of come into my life. And so at the same time that, like, this Skid Row thing is happening, and I'm writing these songs that are very much me wearing those influences on my sleeve, it's almost like feeling like you're in the right place at the right time doing something, and you may never know what that something is, but you feel kind of connected to everybody in a weird way. And not to be all like woo woo about this stuff, because I've never been that kind of girl, but I'm also like, there could be something else going on in the universe. um you know, horoscope says everything, whatever. But I got a lot of witchy friends. They all tell me when, like, the moon is full for me and all that stuff. But
Yeah, you got to watch
but
Mercury.
but yeah, it's really cool, and I definitely still wear all that on my sleeve, and it's great to go back after for so long, not, like, you know, I'm sure you go through the same thing where it's like the things that you grew up listening to, you take a break from for a while, and you're off searching new things and discovering new music, and, you know, and chasing after whatever's happening right now. And then when you finally come back to it with these brand new ears, and you're listening to it still with the joy that you had as a kid, but now with your adult brain being like, wait a minute, I know how to put that puzzle together. That's awesome. Let me try that. And then being able to execute that, it just makes your heart warm
Yeah.
and fuzzy, you know.